Welcome to Covenant of Justice. I'm attorney Isaiah Jerez, and every other week we sit down with remarkable individuals of Southern Nevada who make this such a wonderful place to live. Together, we explore a wide range of topics that matter to the people of Las Vegas and beyond, offering a glimpse behind the glamour of the Strip to showcase the real stories, experiences, and voices that shape our community.
My name is Isaiah Jerez, and I'm here at Fresh with Julie Notaro and Michael Thieme, and we're excited to present Julie Notaro. She's going to be a featured artist in August, presenting her artwork on the billboard. And tell me a little bit about the piece that's going to be on the billboard.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that piece is called Expanse Rising, and it's an abstract work. And it's basically inspired by the local desert here. When I moved to Las Vegas, I discovered the desert, as most people do. And I just really fell in love with it. I think it's just a stunning desert. So that work is kind of my, celebration of the desert expanse that we have here. Just what I love about our desert is the various colors, like the colors constantly shifting with the time of day, the sun setting, sunrise, and then just the sediment and the formations and the rocks. We've got pinks and grays and blacks and reds and rusts, and it's just such a robust, stunning color palette. So I try to incorporate that in my work. So that's kind of what that piece is about, is just how the desert, when I go into the desert, it's like church for me. It's
Amen.
Yeah. It's just a very, it's a place that brings peace and calm to me. So I just love to play with it and in abstract forms in my work. And so that's basically what I'm trying to do in that piece.
Yeah, the desert is amazing, right? You get out here and you first glance like, oh man, there's nothing alive out there, it's so dead. But once you get out there, there's life out there, right? And so much.
Incredibly rich. So it's so stark but the closer you get, you start to see and discover it. So there's like this discovery, which is, very exciting. You never know what you're going to see around each corner. It's very lush. Now, my work, I don't often use a lot of greens in my work because I'm really celebrating the rocks, but I do love all the green in our desert too. So that particular piece doesn't highlight that, but I do put that in my pieces, some pieces too.
Yeah, but a lot of the colors that are kind of pink here, you're referencing to the sun, the sunsets, or even the sunrises. The sunrises here, I think, are even more magnificent than the sunsets.
For sure. Oh yeah, and I love our sandstone and how it's constantly eroding, and so I do a lot of drips in my work to represent kind of like how the desert isn't permanent, but it's constantly changing, eroding, renewing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and the time that it takes for the sandstone to erode and to develop where it is right now in our generation, I mean, it's just years, right? Thousands of years to get there, and it's right to capture that moment, right? The moment that we are right now here in Las Vegas.
Right. Yeah. No, it's pretty special.
Yeah. Michael, tell me a little bit about your work.
So my work is pretty much opposite of Julie's, in the sense that mine is very structured, very hard edge lines. So right now I'm working with a palette of just 18 colors. And so that's what I do, is I paint lines and I manipulate lines and I control the line. So it's very meticulous, it's very meditative for me. Try to be as perfect as I can. I'm a Virgo, so that's kind of just what I do. I also call it a restriction. My technique is a restriction, so I restrict myself into these parameters and also a certain color palette. And to me, that allows me to be more creative, because how can I, have these boundaries and still create from that? And so the piece behind us is actually my biggest piece to date, and it's the same colors that I've been using for the last, since 2022.
That's kind of interesting. So a lot of, you're limiting yourself in colors, limiting yourself to stark lines, but you're saying that's allowing you to be more creative.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that.
So a lot of my work, and I paint lines, my technique is painting lines one at a time. And so I literally paint one line on a piece of canvas, and then I'll rotate it, and then paint another line, and rotate it, and paint another line. So it's a lot of overlapping, like weaving paint together. And so some of the restrictions or some of the things I'm created with is, well, how can I take that process or technique and make this canvas look completely different than the next canvas? And so it's the orientation, it's the how I arrange the colors, or how I use, maybe just one color out of the palette. So I have works where it's the entire canvas is one color.
And I'm just thinking, right, looking at the artwork as an attorney, right, those dark lines are kind of like rules, right? We like it when we can say, whether or not something is yes or no.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, right, as a good attorney, like the case is won in that gray area, right? When those lines meet, I guess. And I guess that's one thing that you're talking about. Like when those lines meet, there can be so much that's going on in that play. And this building is beautiful, right? It's an architectural masterpiece. I think it's so beautiful. You got a mixture of the old floors appear to be original. You got some new floors here, where we're at right now. How did you decide to move your studio here and to develop this gallery?
Well, okay, so I moved into the building in 2023, I think, and I started in a much smaller unit, 160 square feet. But basically I did it because I was working out of my garage, and I really wanted a community. I wanted to meet local artists and have a place to, interact with other people. Because, when you're working at home alone, you're kind of isolated. And I'm a loner when I work on my art, but I like to share and interact and like have banter with with people, and so I found out there was a studio available in the building, and I signed up, and so this is my third studio since I've been in the building. I keep upgrading. Went from 160 square feet to 650 to 1350. So over 3 years, and well, I'm going on the 4th year now. So, but yeah, so it's basically just to like community and to actually reinforce creativity. So it's like if you have a place to go, then you'll do it. At home, there's a lot of distractions. So, I love going in my garage, and I was consistent, but I knew like if I wanted to get to the next level, I needed to like have a place to go and be on, kind of more like you're paying the rent at the art studio, you better go do your art. So it's less of a hobby and more of like it basically turned into more of like a professional business after that. Once I came into the building, it's like then one of the benefits of being in the building is you actually meet people who are not artists. There's just people coming through the building, tourists, First Friday, just a variety of, it's kind of the building is a very popular destination in town. So I got to meet, just art enthusiasts, art lovers. And that was actually a huge benefit, and one of the most rewarding parts of being in the building is, having people look at my art on a daily basis, getting feedback. I love that. And then I love tourists. I think Vegas is really special because of our tourists. Just people come from all over the world. They're here to have fun and celebrate, and I like to be around that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they come for the strip. The question is, do they see that color out there that's out in the desert?
Exactly.
Right?
Well, sometimes some people will have come. Vegas is interesting because they come here and they've gone to Utah, or they're going to Arizona, or they went to Yosemite. It's always like a national park or Death Valley. So a lot of the folks that come through see my work, and they're like, "Ooh, I just saw these colors in the desert," and that's really cool. What's that?
Or the burros.
Yes, exactly. Or the wild
Nice
burros.
burros.
Yes. No, I do. I've painted all the local wildlife, and yeah. So.
So how has your art changed since coming here in 2023, being more involved in the community instead of just being in your own space?
Yeah, I think it's definitely evolved. I've been able to make bigger works for one. Larger pieces like this piece is a 50 by 50. I got a grant like a year ago through the Nevada Arts Council, and I did some huge pieces, 60 by 72. So one, it allowed me to go bigger. Two, it allowed me to, make more art. So I'm just making volume now. Like I'm producing a lot more art because my garage was limited, and you actually have to share your garage with other items.
Yes.
So it allowed me to, and then just being exposed to new things. I'm sure I've incorporated. I'm sure my art has expanded, like color, subject.
She started adding lines.
I started adding lines. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Getting inspired by other artists.
Yes, exactly. Yes. No, it is
Yeah.
true. You know, you can't help but be inspired by the people you're surrounded by. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We just did a collaboration too.
Yes, we
I
did.
painted lines, she painted
Yes,
flora.
we'll have to show you.
Yes, yeah, that'll be a wonderful. What's the name of the piece?
It's
Desert
called
XYZ.
Desert XYZ.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
series, yeah.
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 But no, Michael came in the building. I met him at my first studio, and we became good friends. And then he wanted to get into the building, and so when this one came open, we decided let's join forces, and we grabbed this
Yeah.
space.
This actually used to be an architecture firm, so I think there's like, it was meant to be.
For you, right? Coming
for
back
me,
full
like, you know,
360,
we came
right?
in here, we
Yeah.
saw it, we're like, wow, it's a great space.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's amazing, right? You don't see a lot of buildings like this here in Vegas. I was watching the Tour de France this past week, and they're racing around Paris, and they were doing construction on one of the buildings there, and they had this huge tarp over it that had, it looked like a model that was on it, right? I mean, it's some artwork covering the construction, right? And it just made me think, like, wow, could we do that, right? Like, even though there's some construction going on, cover it up with something that's,
yeah.
you know, that says something.
Yeah. And I'm trying to create like a body of work where somebody from Las Vegas or around the world looks at it and is like, oh, you know, that's Michael's work. So that's really what I'm focused on, is to have a consistent language. And that's why I've limited myself to color and to a technique for right now. And then I'm starting to use different mediums, you know, Sharpie marker, watercolor pencil, I'm gonna start oil stick, just but the same concept, the same process, the same technique.
Focusing on lines and the same colors.
Lines, yes.
And then are you gonna, and mixing those all together, just those different mediums?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just exploring
Yeah.
as best I can with my restriction.
Yeah. Right. And again, come back to that creativity, right?
Yeah.
Can these restrictions actually create more creativity for
Yeah.
us? Because I think the mindset is often no, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you put those restrictions on yourself, and you're limited in what you can do. I don't know. Is there any pushback on that?
Well, personally, I think the sky's the limit. So I tend to, I like variety. So I do a lot of different styles. So I don't restrict myself. A lot of my work is abstract expressionism, but then I also do, you know, more representational work that surrounds the desert.
Some lines in that one.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
so, you know, I consider myself just more like, I like variety. So I do I paint a lot with beeswax, and it's an old process. It's called encaustic. It's beeswax and resin. So I heat the wax and paint with it, and then I build up the layers and fuse each layer together with a heat gun or a torch. And so that's why it's called encaustic. It means to fuse. So you're fusing wax. So yeah, so a lot of my work is that material. But yeah, for me, I'm very much an expressionist. So whatever's going on in my life, that's what I want to express. So it's very timely to like what I'm going through or what I'm inspired by. So that's kind of like, if I'm in the desert a lot, I'll create desert work. If I'm near the sea, I'll do sea colors. And so I'm very much in the moment, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so behind you have some artwork of some of the plant life that we have in the desert. And Michael brought up some of the paintings that you've done of animals and
Yes.
that are here as well.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite piece of animals here around the desert?
You know, I'm madly in love with our local burros, the wild burros. I just think they're really majestic, and they're very smart animals. They're resilient. They're cute. So I would love to have my own donkey if I had enough property, but I don't. But yeah, so I painted the local burros, and then the tortoise is, of course, incredible. I finally saw a tortoise for the first time in 10 years in the wild this year at Red Rock Canyon, so that was a majestic moment. And then the bighorn sheep, and then, yeah, I painted a lot of birds. I love all of our birds. I mean, it's a very rich desert, the Roadrunner.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can show you. I have all of them over there. But yeah, it's, see, there's my burro. And And I've made postcards with all the local wildlife cards, you know. So, but yeah, that's what's so, like you mentioned right away, is like you think this desert is barren, and then you get into it and you realize it's extremely diverse and there's a lot of wildlife here. So yeah, you know.
And color too.
Color.
We have a cacti bloom. That's one of my favorites.
Oh, the flowers.
Yeah. The beaver tail, and the balloons that they create are amazing colors.
Oh yeah, it's like actually hot pink is real.
Yes, it actually comes
You
here,
didn't
right?
make that up.
Yes,
It's a real color.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's here for just a small moment, right? Small moment of time, you gotta capture it, and then it's gone. And that's part of the desert, right? We have these flashes, these moments, right? And it's so worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other day I was riding my bike on the River Mountain Trail. We're coming up a little hill, and I look up, all of a sudden there's a herd of bighorn sheep just ran across. Yeah, it was just amazing, right? And I've seen them out there before, but just right there, right in front of me, and it was just...
That's, pretty majestic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And those bighorn sheep scare me.
Oh no, they're...
Yeah, much more than the rattlesnakes.
Oh yes, but they weigh a little more.
Yes, yeah. Right, and their job is to headbutt. And I'm not gonna headbutt them. And I know you say you ride your gravel bike out there in the desert.
Oh yeah, it's really fun to, it's great biking over in the Blue Diamond area. That's where I saw the last I saw about eight wild burro out there. And there's a huge Joshua tree field and wild yucca. It's really gorgeous. So so the Mustang Loop, go through the Mustang Loop and the Cactus Slalom, and it's really fun. That definitely a mountain bike would take it to the next level. So I stay on the kind of the flatter turf, but it's so beautiful back there.
Yeah, and it's peaceful back there, right? You can come out, you don't see the buildings.
No, not
You're
at all.
out there literally in the desert.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys coming together and being with me, and I really appreciate being able to, exhibit your artwork. It means a lot to us to be able to kind of provide a platform for you, right? Because you very talented, give a lot to the community, and we appreciate it.
Well, thank you. We are just like, this is the coolest thing you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. That's really special that you're giving this platform to artists and supporting the local artists. That's really just quite lovely.
Yes, yeah. And self-promotion is important, right? But I hate seeing myself on a billboard, and we drive down the freeway and there's attorneys and it rotates, and it's like I could never see myself on a billboard again. And this just seemed like a great idea, right?
No, I think it's really cool. It must have been your marketing manager's idea. No,
I think it was, right? Yeah, it was a good collaboration.
Just kidding.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's really cool because,